This is my book club. My name is Carrie. We are called Naked and Unafraid because we are stripping away all of our conditioning, getting rid of it all so that we can be naked in the world and unafraid. And us as women, we have a lot of conditioning, a lot. And every time I think, okay, I got rid of a layer, there comes another layer. It's exhausting. It's literally exhausting. But we're doing it. Like we are showing up and doing it. So today, we are going to go through chapters 4 through 6 on A Woman's Guide to Power, Unbound by Miss Kasia Urbaniak, who is a force to be reckoned with. And we've been away for 2 weeks. I called a little pause because I went to see took my daughter to see the University of Oregon. She is interested in going there. We are interested in not sending her there because it is 3 times the amount of schools in California that are actually better schools that she got into. But she's kind of in love with it. And well, guess what? Her boyfriend is going to go there too. And he kind of looks like Brad Pitt and kind of drives a hot souped up Mustang. So, I mean, we all know at 17, I have no power in this decision. So we took her to see the University of Oregon, and that's why I said, hey, we're not going to meet today. I totally forgot. I didn't forget. I planned a little bit, but you know what I'm saying. So 2 weeks ago, we discussed chapters 1 through 3. And just as a little bit of an update where we are, chapters 1 through 3 were about the conversation underneath the conversation. There's always something that we're saying, but something that is happening in our body that our body is projecting. And if our words that are coming out of our mouth do not match what's coming out of our animal body, then boom, it doesn't make any sense. And it feels really uncomfortable to whoever we're talking to. So Kasia guides us to getting congruent, whatever we're feeling and whatever we're saying. She wants us to practice so that sounds the same. So then we have more influence, because if it's not the same, we're a hot mess and everybody's gone. Like nobody's listening to us anymore. We also talked about domination and submission. So she wants us to practice those 2 states. And that's what we did in our exercise lab last week. That was just awesome. I might do that again this week, haven't decided. And then she also talked about the good girl double bind. So that's what we did 2 weeks ago and last week in our description lab. Is that what's called? We call it our exercise lab, but the exercise itself is called I think it's called the simple description. I don't know, it doesn't matter. But my question to you is, just as a kind of catch us up, do you guys have any shares around, what might be happening in your life that is, kind of rocking your world based on stuff that you're learning, or, rocking your world based on the exercise that we did? And this is the part where I don't know, the silence kind of makes me nuts. So if you have nothing, I have a story, but I would love to hear from you if you want to share. But also, if you don't want to share, that's totally fine. The silence I don't like. Okay, so I'm going to share with you this little story about good girl double bind. So I had this, my husband and I, you go through ups and downs in your relationship, and we went through a down, and I was just like kind of in a really bad place. And we also have to talk to my daughter about school and money and how we're going to afford this, and she's going to have to get a job and all this stuff. And so I had been through this difficulty with my husband, and I kind of like removed myself, and I was like, I just need to, watch a podcast or stupid Netflix or something because I can't be in it all the time. And he asked me to join in the conversation about money. We'd asked my son, who had already graduated college, to give her his, hey, I have a job and this is what I paid for in school, like his big brother talk to her about what it would be like if she had to work. And so it was this really kind of meaty conversation. And my husband sent me a text, hey, can you join us? And I was like, I cannot. I don't have the capacity right now. And I knew that if I joined them in that moment, I I would either have to just look good, put on a face, or I would just like burst into tears. I knew it was like a no-win situation, but I was stuck. Like it was a bind. It was literally like I was in between having to do what was best for me, what was best for the family, like it was really difficult. And we hit those all the time. And Kasia just wants us to see that so that we can work ourselves out of it. We can see it. We can make a decision based on what is best for us and then move forward. So that it hits me all the time. Like that stuff hits me all the time that we're literally living through this. And if you can see it, you can work yourself out of it. So, okay, I wrote down. So I could either betray myself in that moment. I needed space, or I could betray the expectations of me, and I was stuck. But I'm glad that I chose myself. I think ultimately that's always that's always what we should do, because if we don't choose ourselves, then we're betraying ourselves, and that causes all kinds of other issues. Okay, so if you guys don't have anything, let us talk about chapter 4, which is the chapter on embodiment. And I wrote down something about embodiment, but I don't think I printed it out. And I'm not going to read from the book anymore because that is actually a copyright violation if I put it up on YouTube, which I may or may not. So my crutch of reading from the book has escaped me, and I'm now going to explain embodiment to you guys. And it's basically just like feeling into your body when something is going on. Like right now, I'm like feeling into my seat, so that I can feel it. And she says that, I mean, we're just fucked in terms of embodiment because we quite literally have been conditioned to always look okay and always sound okay. And that takes us out of our bodies. Like if we're just always smiling or always trying to look perfect, we're just immediately like out of our bodies. We are also taught to just like go along with everybody else, apologize or say thank you or smile to everybody. And that brings us out of our bodies. And once we come out of our bodies, we don't know what's true anymore. We can't feel like what our body is telling us. If we're out of our bodies, we are like, we don't trust it anymore. Like it's given us messages and we've stopped listening. So chapter 4 is all about learning how to feel into our body what's happening in the moment. And it's not just like feeling into your body what's happening, but it's feeling the words leaving my mouth. It's feeling when we're eating. It's feeling when we're moving into another room. It's just quite literally feeling into our bodies, which we probably did perfectly when we were babies and up until maybe, I don't know, 5, but at some point it just all went to shit and we stopped. So this is key to becoming more powerful, becoming more influential. It's why we do it. All right, that was chapter 4. And I'm going to go through each one of them and then I'm going to open it up a little bit. But that was chapter 4. Chapter 5 is called Your Hunger Knows. And she is asking us to understand that whatever our desires are, we were born with those. Those are not things that somehow, you know, the the political climate or the weather or, like the fact that another girl is doing this, they're not things that all of a sudden like, oh, I'm going to do this. They're things that are born within us. Like we were born to actually deliver something, to come here and do something in the world. And those desires are also born within us. And she says that And I found this too. Once you kind of accept that, it's a lot easier to be like, oh wow. Uh if it's not then it's very true. If it's not something that I'm just following a trend to do, then it's very like easier to come home to. She also says that it's so hard to know what we want. Like when you ask me, what do you want, Carrie? That's like impossible. We don't know what we want because all of this conditioning, we don't listen to our bodies. We do what we're supposed to do. It's like all, so it's, I mean, how can we know what we want? It's all been literally shoved out of us so that we don't listen to our bodies. We don't listen to the intuitive hits that hit us. So this is really layered. And there's an exercise in this chapter called Book of Desires. She recommends that we write down our desires. She recommends that we keep a log. She recommends that we make them specific. She recommends that we keep updating them and keep changing them because we don't fucking know. Like we don't know. So, accept the fact that we are where we are. It's all been conditioned out of us. We are screwed up in the best possible way. And yet we can start writing it down. It doesn't have to be perfect. We don't have to tell anybody. Nobody has to even look at it. I keep a notes thing in my phone when I'm being a good girl, which I'm not always being, to kind of just whatever's coming out of me in the moment. And I can tell you that I started this book club a year ago, and I was like, what, Carrie, what are you doing? You're going to read this book on repeat, two books only. Like something is calling you forward to do this. And it made no sense to me. It made no sense to anyone else around me. It might not even make sense to you guys. But it has led me on a path that now is starting to make sense. I'm starting to, and also like I wanted to learn AI, like that kind of called to me. So the book club, the fact that I am so drawn to these books and the AI and learning in that is calling to me to create this like app thing that I've been using. It's been blowing my mind. So it might not make sense in the beginning when you start following it, but at some point it starts to make sense. And it doesn't have to make sense. It's just like there's something nagging at you. There's something niggling at you that is like telling me to go do this book club. So, okay, makes no sense, but I'm gonna keep doing it. And eventually it does start to make sense, which is kind of awesome. The other thing she says in this chapter is that literally everything we complain about points us directly to one of our desires. And I'm trying to think of a really good example right now, and I didn't really write anything down. But the thing I complain about the most is my husband. And I mean, that points me directly to a desire that I want a partnership with my husband that is strong and that is, he has such a magnificent brain. I'm so attracted to him. I'm so attracted to his sense of humor. Like eh, he's my man, right? So the fact that I complain about him or whatever he does, it's directly pointed to the fact that I want a really strong partnership with him. So if you can, every time you complain about something, recognize that it holds a desire. You can say to yourself, hey, what am I complaining about? I'm complaining about my daughter, but why? And my desire there would be to have an awesome relationship with her and to help guide her in ways that maybe I was not by my own mom because she was caught in her own stuff. So, I mean, if you could start to do that, it starts to unlock complaints and it starts to make complaints make sense so that we're not just like, blah, 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 I'm so blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm complaining about this thing maybe there's something in there. And it gives us it makes it so much more productive as opposed to just complaining. All right, that's chapter 5. And then chapter 6, I wrote down a juicy thing about this, but then I didn't print it out, so I'm going to try and explain it. Emotional alchemy. She says that feeling transforms emotions into power. And when we have certain emotions, if we can feel them through our body, they can transform into something else. And I always bring this back to Michael Singer. When somebody comes at me with they're coming at me with excitement or fear, or somebody's mad at me. If I can not deflect that thing, and if I can just see someone as yelling or being mad, and if I can take that in and alchemize it, I can use it for my own joy. It is literally energy coming at me. So she says that when we have our own rage can turn into clarity. Like, why am I angry? Why am I mad? That can turn into some kind of clarity. So we can alchemize our own emotions. And in this chapter, she has 3 exercises. One is the things unsaid. So she recommends that we start a log of all the things that we haven't said, because in that things unsaid, we're hiding something, we're holding on to something, we are trying to protect ourselves from something. And if we start writing it down, I never told my dad about the fact that I'm pissed about the way that he spends money. That is something I've never said to my dad. Actually, I might have said it to him. And if we can unlock the things that we don't say, there's stuff in there. We're protecting ourselves. We're holding on to something. If we can write it down, nobody needs to see it. We don't need to say those things, but at least we recognize it in ourselves. Wow. Okay. Here's an area that I'm protecting, that I'm trying to keep people away from, even myself. And if I can see it, I can start to maybe unlock something. So she's always trying to get us to unlock all that stuff that we are just like, we have locked in here because we've been trained to look good and make everything okay. And it's like, no, we have 50 some years of that, and it's time to stop, and it's time to start. Well, if you're me, I literally tell everybody around me, stop doing that, and let's stop raising our kids to do that. So things unsaid, invisible labor, which I'll come back to because that's such a good one, and conversations I'm not having. So she also recommends that we write down conversations I'm not having. I'm not talking to my husband about, and I'm literally talking to him about everything. So there's really nothing coming to my mind. I'm not talking to my son about the fact that he's maybe not going after his job as much as he should. I'm kind of wimping out of that conversation. So she is asking us not to go have these conversations. We don't have to do that, but write them down because it's going to unlock something. Why am I not doing that? I don't want to disturb him. I don't want to pressure him. I don't want him to not love me. But there's something there that I'm trying to protect myself from. So can you guys kind of see it? Okay, I'm going to go back to, I forgot one, chapter 5, there was an exercise called the Bad Girl Protocol. And this is kind of her second foundational exercise after the description exercise that we did last week. Bad Girl Protocol is, if I were a bad girl, I would. And it is really to unlock your imagination. And when I first started doing this exercise, and I really can't do it anymore, I can do it really well if I'm doing it with someone else who also kind of unlocks something with me. But I'm such a good girl. This one is so uncomfortable for me. but she's just asking us to move into our imagination so that we can be like, wow, if I were a bad girl, I would show up on Zoom in my dirty Britney Spears t-shirt. If I were a bad girl, I would ask men to pay me to see my feet. That's a good one. So there are all kinds of things that like we would never think of doing. And for me, it's really hard because I've smashed all that stuff down. Like I am a good girl. But if we start to think about it, take 5 minutes to write in a journal, if I were a bad girl, and anything that comes, it just starts to just open up your imagination. So I'm realizing I'm laying a lot of stuff on you right now. And there's one more exercise that I want to discuss. But do you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, shares, celebrations before I move on to the kind of final exercise in chapter 6?
I have a comment.
Yes.
You had gotten the PDF and the exercises for me once upon a time, and I wasn't sure if you shared them with everybody.
I did not, but I can.
So,
That's a great
and
idea.
I just pulled it out and was like, oh yeah, I have this right here. So it's good to, maybe someone else might like it.
Yeah. You know what? I can probably host them in the Facebook group, or I could just email it to everybody. Yeah, they are very long though. Like the exercise, the descriptions are there's a lot of words around them and they kind of get me confused. But the exercises are actually pretty simple. What did you find, Donna? Because you have the PDFs.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're that long.
Okay. All right, awesome.
I mean, there's yeah, I think it's helpful because I put them in a notebook, and when I did this book club I guess last summer,
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it since then, but I pulled it out and was like, oh, there it is right there. And when you were talking about it, I was like following along going, oh yeah, we have to do that. And then you came back to the bad girl thing. So I was like, yeah, good. I'm glad you came back to it. But I wrote things down in my phone or text things in my phone.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to go back and see what those were that I had said last summer.
Right. Yeah, because they always.
I thought that might be helpful to share that with other people.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you.
Yeah, that would be awesome to share. And then that would be helpful too if we did the labs so that if people, could just pull that up too.
Yeah.
And Carrie, like you were saying, Bad Girl, it's hard for you. I think there's some labs coming up with Bad Girl.
I don't know how to do that. Oh, let's just do it this week. Exactly. Like I have resistance to it. Let's go, Phoebe.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, definitely.
And the ones that she talks about in the first one is a live exercise because when the first exercise we did, which is a description exercise, you have 2 eyes, you have a mouth, you have a nose. It's literally just describing someone and attention out versus attention in. So that one is a live one. It's not a written exercise. But all of these are kind of written exercises, except now we're going to do the bad girl exercise as an exercise lab. Thank you, Phoebe, for kind of like lighting that on fire.
She even said the conversations I'm not having is really good live too.
Yeah.
I think that's what she said in the book.
Huh. I'll look back on that.
Is anybody else? I don't know. I could be. Yeah.
I was actually just looking at that right now, but I'm not finding the part that it was good to do live, but I was thinking it really is. I mean, especially when you have like this anonymity, right? I mean, you guys don't know the person that I'm going to be talking about. And it's a little bit different than writing it out to yourself because no matter what, there's gonna be some monitoring as you're writing. And I think talking, it will kind of have some momentum where you're like, oh fuck, did I just say that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think she says it's helpful to write it too, but then what I remember her saying was that it's also good for her to do it live with someone. Yeah. And there's the thing, because then it's kind of like the spring cleaning where there's a prompt of like, what else did you not say?
Right.
So like that person holding the space, it seems like helps to like get to those deeper layers. Okay, holding it, thank you. What else did you not say?
Yeah. I also think it's so helpful to just be witnessed. Like that is so helpful. So maybe I'll look again and maybe this whole week we'll just cycle through several of them.
Harry, I wonder if for the bad girl protocol, if it would make it easier for you and I don't know, maybe for me or for anyone to have like sort of categories or just suggest categories that you know, because I don't know, I feel like there's so much that I could think of, but then so it's like I would have a hard time narrowing down something to come out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That makes sense.
Categories.
Yeah.
Because in the area of work or in the area of money or in the area of laundry or whatever that is, like how could you be a bad girl?
Kids.
Food. Did somebody say food?
Yeah. That's like
It's
eating
funny
ice cream all day.
I was thinking like the way to kind of tap into that is to have like breadcrumbs would be, I mean, to kind of lead us there, it would be anything that feels like we're doing something and there's some resentment, right? I mean, there's some kind of like, I really don't want to fucking do that. Like to the simplest of things.
Yeah.
That could be a breadcrumb. I mean, anywhere where there's like some stickiness could be like oh, let's start there. I'm gonna say if I was a bad girl, I'm gonna do the complete opposite of the thing that I'm feeling some like I didn't really want to do that.
Right. Yeah, I love that. Okay, you guys are firing me up. We're going to do that this week.
I will try to do it if I don't have a million meetings. It's the end of the semester, so I can't promise anything.
Okay, no worries. No worries, Renee. Thank you. All right, the very last exercise is one that is, I think, one of my most important learnings through this whole journey, and that's invisible labor. And invisible labor is all the stuff that we do as women that we don't get recognized for, paid for, appreciated for, the things that are just expected of us. So in the past, I've been like, yeah, it's laundry, it's food shopping, it's making dinner, it's breastfeeding, it's, like there's all of that stuff that is absolutely essential. And how would you have a household without it? But it's also not paid, not appreciated, pretty much invisible. Like we're expected to do it. So when you take that level and you're like, oh God, like it's when you start to make a list of all the invisible labor that you're doing, it is very, very heavy. There's a lot there. And then there's another layer that I've been uncovering lately, and that is all of the emotional labor that I do for the family that is not seen, not paid for, not appreciated, and comes with, for me, like it comes with the identity of being a wife and being a woman in the age that we're in right now. There was a certain, my mom did it for my dad, her mom did it for my grandfather. Like there's a certain amount of, oh, he's not comfortable. Let me figure out why he's not comfortable. Let me smooth everything out. Let me try and make it better. And that is not our job. Like the way he feels is totally on him. It is not my job to try and make anything better so that he feels better. And that is such a huge emotional labor bit that I have been doing for my entire life for anyone around me. And then now I'm resigning. I'm retiring. I'm putting in my papers. I'm not doing it anymore. And it is making me uncomfortable. It's making everyone around me uncomfortable. But I think it's the only way to go, because when we do all this stuff for other people, we are really we're leaving ourselves, we're leaving what's important to me, and we're caretaking for that other person, not in a, I'm going to make you dinner, but in a, oh, wow, he's, this is disrupting the whole ecosystem, and I need to do something in order to make it easier. That's huge. And when you start dropping that, it affects everyone around you because they're like, wait a minute, like Carrie, even with my friends, Carrie used to be the one who would always get us together. She used to be the one who would always, text back when I sent a group text, and I've dropped it. Like I'm not the one anymore. And it shakes everything up. It's very uncomfortable. But if I suck it up and am just the nice one and just go back into, okay, I'll reply to the group text, I'm abandoning myself. I'm abandoning what I need. And how are we going to move forward if we let go of ourselves, if we leave ourselves? I'm really learning how to come back to myself. And that it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. The whole transformation, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster. I don't want to be anywhere else, but I also feel like I'm on a roller coaster. And I really, really thought, okay, this invisible labor thing. Yeah, I see it. I clock it. Laundry, groceries. I understand it, but there's a whole other level that is difficult. So this stuff is hard to move through. It's really, really hard, but I know that it's the most important thing that I do, because if my energy is caught up in making sure everybody else is okay, then my energy is not being used for whatever I am supposed to bring to this world, which may be my daughter. Like that may be the thing. I bring my daughter into this world, and I now am raising her to go get a job, go find scholarships, like that. It doesn't have to be that cure cancer, like, but there's something that is a more pure use of my own energy than caretaking for someone else's feelings. I mean, can you guys hear it? Like, it's just fucking huge. It's a lot. So I don't know if I think that one is a list that she recommends that we keep as well. But I don't know if we could do that one live.
No, because things are going to come up all week.
Yeah.
It's not just a one-time thing.
It is not just a one-time thing. Thank you, Jim O, who is not Jim, who is Eileen.
Right. Your list made me think of like 16 other things. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
exactly. Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. All right, ladies. So I wrote some stuff down for invisible labor. Where do you notice yourself carrying invisible emotional labor? And that could be for anybody. Your partner, your children, your friends, your coworkers. Like there's something that you're doing. So let's resign. We're gonna have like a walk out. I'm gonna be like, who was that? Who's that union leader? Sally Fields. Who was she? What movie was that?
It was Norma Ray.
Yes, I'm gonna be Norma Ray for invisible labor. Oh, and even YouTube or Zoom thinks I should do it. Okay. What would it feel like to put that labor down? Can you even imagine? It's going to be uncomfortable. Let me just tell you that. Where are you swallowing things unsaid? So often. I'm getting better at it now. And then physical, emotional signs that you're carrying too much. So, it comes out in all kinds of ways that we're doing this, and we shouldn't be. Like, why are we doing it? We're not getting to where we're supposed to go if we're doing all this other stuff. So that's what I have for this week, kind of speeding through all the chapters. Did you guys have anything else any questions about the chapters? Anything that I might have left out that you think is really important that we should touch on as well? It's kind of a new format for us now, as opposed to me reading. So anybody?
I have so this is interesting in the chapter, I think it's chapter 5, about the invisible labor. At the top of page 99, which mine is soft cover, so it might not be the same numbers as yours, but it's like right after the Unbound, the exercise about invisible labor, and it's emotional alchemy, and it says simply recognizing how much invisible labor you do can be incredibly liberating in and of itself. But once you start becoming aware of this invisible labor as a choice you are making, then the people around you start to see it too. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering, is that the part that people are uncomfortable about? Because you said like people around you are uncomfortable and you're uncomfortable. Are they
Yeah.
uncomfortable because they're starting to see it, like how much they lean on you and like recognizing that it's not okay? Maybe they're starting to recognize. I
Yeah,
don't know. Just as a thought, like,
yeah,
yeah.
I think it's absolutely true that when you start to see it, other people start to see it, and you
Mm,
really don't have to say anything about it. But I
mm,
have literally said, like, I want to be recognized for choosing a restaurant. That takes time. It's not just, oh, Carrie knows exactly where to go. It's, I have to research it. I have to figure out who else is coming. It takes time. It's invisible. So I have literally said that to my husband. Hey, I want to be recognized for doing all the research and figuring out where we're going to go. And he looks at me sideways. But, I've said stuff like that to him. That was not as uncomfortable as this last piece that I'm doing, which is just not doing the emotional labor. And that's uncomfortable because he feels it. Like, so I've been holding, supporting, making sure everybody's okay. And then, like, imagine that just falls away. I mean, that's not comfortable for either one of us. And in a way, I do a little self-attack there. I'm like, geez, Louise, like, why did I do that in the first place? Like, why did I sign up to why did I think that was my job? And the fact that I did that, then, we were in this partnership together that worked like that. So the fact that I did that enabled him to act the way that he does. So, like, yes, we're both complicit, but I'm standing up now and saying I'm not going to do it anymore. And that is uncomfortable. And I think more uncomfortable than hey, I want to be recognized for finding the restaurant. Because it's someone in your life that has held you in this way emotionally that is like, boop, not doing it anymore. So it's very, very, very uncomfortable. But we will move through it. So because we can adapt and adjust. Like that's how we are built as humans. We can grow through this stuff. We are not chipmunks, like we can evolve. Thank God. Hi, Grace. So,
and then if you want to go even deeper, like there's the thing about a lot of the gifts from the feminine are not things that can be seen.
yeah.
So it's like to really think about all that is done and given from the feminine, not from men or women, but obviously
Yes.
more from women. But yeah, that there's just so much energy and so much gifts and so much that is done that's not even seen.
Not seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's exhausting when you think about it. And one trick when I find myself in that spot where I'm like, oh my God, like why? And then I start to direct it into myself and I start to say, why did I do that? Like what an idiot. When I start to say that, I'm self-attacking, and she directs us to send it anywhere but ourselves because we were conditioned to do this. So if I'm going to attack it, attack the system that built me to be the way that I am, attack my conditioning. Don't attack my mother because she was also caught in this system. So attack the conditioning, attack the system that we all were born into, the way that the world works, direct it out to that. Do not direct it in. When you find yourself directing it inward, try and shake it off and remember that it's not you. We have been conditioned to do this by society, by our mothers who were only conditioning us to do that because they were also conditioned in that way. And now we are in a time in history where things have changed, things continue to change, some not so much. Some are being like backed up, but some like we're gonna keep moving forward. And we have the opportunity to do things differently, whereas our ancestors might not have. So when I think about that, I get a whole other level of fire in my belly because they did not have the opportunity. My mother, my grandmother did not have access to her own money. So when I think about that and I think about, wow, like my grandmother, even if you go further back, they did not have the freedoms that we have, and they are back there and they are there saying, go, like, go. And when I think about it that way, I'm like, you can't stop me. Like, this is it. It's not, they did not have this chance. And I do. And I'm going to do it for me, and I'm going to do it for my daughter. And I'm going to do it for any other woman that is going to come after me because that's it makes sense. It makes sense not just for women, it makes sense for humanity. So I don't know how I got off on that tangent, but I love this little one. Can you guys do that? I've learned all of the
Dude,
hand.
I don't know how to like make it. How do you tell it to do it?
You just have to hold it for that long, and it has to be something about your settings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll let you know what it is, but it's
Okay.
if you can learn how to do those things. Okay, so ladies, we are at 12:48. Do we have anything else that we want to discuss? I think you've convinced me to do exercise lab this week. Not that I needed much convincing, but I'll go through and, kind of read which ones make sense. They probably all make sense, but we might start with the bad girl protocol because that's the one that's most uncomfortable for me. And then next week we will continue on with the next 3 chapters. Also in the past, I've said that we could do the written exercises in the Facebook group. I don't know how everybody feels about that. We never had we never had a lot of real good success there, but sometimes there were little nuggets that happened. I think sometimes people are nervous about putting that stuff in Facebook, which I understand, but also it's like, who cares? Nobody's gonna find it. Nobody's gonna see it, but I get it. I get it. It's really just for you to see. So if we can all as a group say, yeah, we're like in spirit, we're gonna do this on our own. Book of Desires, Bad Girl Protocol, all of the exercises that she recommends, and it's gonna shake stuff loose. And this is not stuff that is like just in her book and she moves away from. It is stuff that she is like constantly reminding us of. I have her planners. I don't know if you guys, it's around here somewhere, but in her planners, there are all these little QR codes, and it's like remind you of that's exactly the bad girl exercise. Like this stuff is foundational. She keeps coming back to it. It's stuff that she always recommends to shake stuff loose. I just did her 7-day power challenge for $27 because literally anybody can sell me anything for $27, especially Kasia Urbaniak. And I did that. And it's all stuff I know already. It's literally all stuff in the book already. But she led us through one day is this, another day is this. And it's like, if you just keep coming back to the foundational exercises, then it's going to shake stuff up.
What was the 7-day thing? I didn't hear about that.
It's still out there. Do you want me to send you? I'll send you a link.
Yeah, if you can send me the link and then
Yeah.
that PDF that
I'll send it out all out in email. I'll
okay,
send
right
it in
on.
email. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Then there's something going on tomorrow, right?
Yes, she has like a town hall tomorrow if you
Yeah.
guys are interested in going. I don't know if you're on her email list.
It's a town hall about what?
She does a town hall every few months. I think she's been quiet for a very long time. I'm obsessed with her, so I follow her and what she says. And she's been quiet for a very long time, kind of since the election. And so she is now, this is the first time she's really speaking up again after that. So I think it's going to be all about what's happening in the world. And I mean, she's like, okay, like, let's go. We don't have time to waste. So I need to get all these women to get more power so that we can all speak up and start, moving ourselves more forward than we have been. And I think right now in time is like, hello, I could use a little of that. Grace, I didn't understand your comment. I think it works for some devices, brands, not others.
Oh, that was just a response to someone else's comment.
Perfect. Oh, yes, the hand motions. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's an
No
Apple
deep
thing.
mystery. Yeah, I think it's Apple. I just couldn't even think of what brands. And I'm on a Mac, so it doesn't, but I'm okay with it not working. It kind
You
of
might
creeps
have to
me
turn
out.
it on. But once you turn it on, it's like a lot of fun.
I'm okay with my hand gestures just being my hand gestures.
Exactly. I don't need it to be anything fancy.
I'm a little bit weirded out by the fact that, oh, it's actually following my every movement. And, it's like,
I kind of love that though, Grace. So, we all have
okay.
different preferences.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right.
I'm not aware of like her, like I don't remember how I got your emails. I don't, and I just signed on and then I've missed if I haven't, so this is my first time here.
Yay, welcome.
And it feels good, even though I know I'm coming, it sounds like at the end, but I finally got here and
Yes.
so yeah, if there's something with you said an open house or not an open house, you said something tomorrow. I don't know how to link up with the author of the
Yeah. I can
book.
send an email. I'll send an email
Okay.
to everybody. You got the
Okay.
emails, I think, so you're good.
Yeah,
A lot
I'm
of
on
people
your
don't get
list
the
now.
emails. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it falls into some other thing, or they don't like my email, or I don't know, something happens. There's all kinds of things around email. But if you're on I'll send an email list and
Okay.
you'll know where to go. Yeah. All right, ladies. We are going to close out a little early today unless you have anything exciting to add. I just am beyond grateful that you have joined me here. I'm beyond grateful that I have a band of women to do this with, because it's difficult work to go against the way we've been raised. And I think that the beauty in this is just being able to do it with another woman that is also like, yeah, I see you, Carrie. I see you doing this stuff, and thank you for doing it. And I see each one of you also doing this stuff, and thank you for showing up for yourself, for showing up for your ancestors that did not have this opportunity, for showing up for the next generation of women that will have even more opportunities. And we, by doing this, will have shaken some stuff loose, because that's what happens. We change ourselves and everybody else around us changes. That is the way that it works. It is not we change that person. It is always we change something within ourselves. So thank you for taking yourselves on. And I will see you this week in exercise labs. and I will see you next week to discuss the next 3 chapters of this book. All right. Bye,
Thank
ladies.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good week. Bye, guys.
And
Bye.
Carrie, in the chat, I put I found another
Ooh.
book club app thing.
Awesome.
Yep, and it's literally called bookclubs.com.
Huh.
I'm using it in a book club, like, well, I'm not using it, but I'm in a book club for a work thing that is using it, and it's like there is an opportunity to have like back and forth commentary, and
Ooh.
yeah, it's really good. It's free. There's like
Cool.
ads, which is that, you know, like if you want it to be free, there's ads on the page, and they're so terrible. They're book ads. How dare they? You know,
So
so
terrible.
so yeah.
I'll look at it. I'll look
Yeah.
at it. I've also
Yeah.
thought like maybe we could do a Telegram group, but I don't know. I haven't, I
Yeah.
haven't quite figured it out.
Something.
But that's a good idea.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Talk to you later.
All right, ladies. Goodbye.